Hey there, all you fantastic people. I hope your day has been absolutely wonderful. We're back for another exciting episode of What If Naruto Became the Windlord. Make sure to show some appreciation to the talented author behind this fanfiction. You'll find the link waiting for you down in the description. In this What If, Naruto finds some scrolls that contain Fūton Jutsus. When he goes to ask the old man about them, the answers he gets will change his life. If this What If has your imagination running wild, drop a comment down below and let me in on your thoughts. And don't forget to explore the array of other captivating what ifs available on this channel. Alright, without further ado, let's kick off this video and dive into this exciting journey. Sorry I'm late, said Kakashi as he entered the room. I slipped on a banana peel and lost all my short-term memories. With that said, he gave everyone his famous eye smile. That was returned with hateful glares. Today he was late by 4 hours. That was an hour later than usual. Asuma had run out of cigarettes, Kurenai had finished her romance novel, and Guy was crying that he was missing out on such a youthful day. Everyone else in the room had been passing around a Rubik's Cube that seemed impossible to solve. Well, now that everyone is here, said Sarutobi with one last glare at Kakashi. As you all should know, the Chunin exams are going to be starting soon and will be held in our village. We will be starting this meeting with the nominations for the exam. Remember that requirement to take the exam is to have at least 8 D rank mission and at least 1 C rank mission or higher. We will first hear from the rookie teams. Are there any genin who you feel are ready for the exam? Kakashi, Asuma, and Kurenai all stepped forward. I, Hatake Kakashi of Team 7, nominated Uchiha Sasuke, NarutoHinataAnko, and Uzumaki Naruto. I, Yuhi Kurenai of Team 8, nominated Inuzuka Kiba, Aburame Shino, and Shimin Hinata. I, Sarutobi Asuma of Team 10, nominate Yamanaka Ino, Nara Shikamaru, and Akamichi Choji. Silence filled the room. All 3 rookie teams had been nominated. The last time a rookie team had been nominated was 5 years ago. But to have all 3 teams go in their first year was unprecedented. The other Jonin and Chunin in the room were looking at them like they were insane. I can't allow that, yelled Iruka. Those 9 are too green for this exam. I should know since I was their teacher. Well, I had already taken the exam when I was Naruto's age, said Kakashi. In fact, I was a Jonin. Well, Naruto's nothing like you, said Iruka. I have to agree with Iruka, said Guy loudly. My team had the needed skills to take the exam last year, but I felt that they needed more experience. This is the best time for them to take the exam, said Kurenai. If they took the Chunin exam in a different village, they would be like a fish out of water. If they take it here, we can keep an eye on them and make sure they stay safe. What she said was true. In other villages, those who were injured for outside villages got no medical attention until the end of the exam. I'm sending them in as motivation, said Asuma. Right now they need a kick in the pants to get them to train. I think that seeing how strong some shinobi from other villages are might inspire them to train harder. And as Kurenai said, what better place to do that than our own village? Everyone, said Sarutobi. It is not our place to judge the decisions of the Jonin instructors. It is their decision to make. Also remember that it is still the choice of the genins to actually take the exam. If they feel they are ready, then there is nothing anyone can do about it. Now, moving on. The rest of the meeting was much calmer. Duties were assigned and proctors were chosen. They also talked about keeping an eye on the single team from Iowa that showed up. Normally, that village didn't send its shinobi when it was Konoha's turn to hold the exam. When the meeting was over, the Jonin instructors were told where to pick up the forms that their students needed to fill out. After that, only Sarutobi and Iruka were left in the room. I don't believe this, moaned Iruka as he buried his face in his hands. I believe that they'll do fine, said Sarutobi with a smile. Just put some trust in them. At least Kurenai and Asuma gave some good reasons for sending their students into the exam, said Iruka as he lifted his head. Kakashi acted like this is a joke. This is a serious exam. I know why he did it, said Sarutobi. I found out about a week ago that the council was telling the daimyos that the last Uchiha will be in the exam. Because of that, more people will be showing up, which will increase the amount of gambling. So what are you saying? Asked Iruka. Sarutobi sighed. The loss of the Uchiha clan was a large blow to the village, said the old Hokage. We lost many clients after that. Now that the last one is old enough and able to take the exam, they want to show everyone that we are still strong and can rebuild the Uchiha clan back to its former glory. And they don't care how many people died just to see that happen, demanded Iruka as he stood up. Please calm down, said Sarutobi. Remember that we will be keeping an eye on them. Come on team, said Naruto as sweat dripped from his chin. He was nervous, everything was on the line. Then he saw Sasuke smirk. I'm in dope, said Sasuke as he set down his cards. 2 kings. I win. Sasuke then moved to grab the coins in front of him, but Naruto stopped him. I don't think so, said Naruto as he revealed his hand. I have 3 nines. 3 of a kind beats 2 of a kind. With that, Naruto took all of the money. Team 7 had decided to play a game of poker while they waited for Kakashi to show up. While they did so, they talked about what they had done during their training periods. All Sasuke would admit to was some serious training in new jutsus. Anko told them before she lost all her money that she had learned a couple of jutsus along with more information gathering skills. Naruto told them that he had trained in taijutsu, some kenjutsu, and genjutsu. Maybe you should stick to gambling, said Sasuke as he looked at his one coin and then at Naruto's small mountain. You're better at it than being a shinobi. Don't be a poor loser, said Anko. I think you still haven't gotten over what happened in Nami. Before Sasuke could say anything, Kakashi appeared on the scene in his usual manner. Yo, he said. He then moved to the side to avoid being hit by several kunai from both Naruto and Anko. As violent as ever I see. Well, today there will be no team training. How is that different for us? Asked Anko and Naruto at the same time. Kakashi's eyes smiled and handed them a piece of paper. Tomorrow will be the Chunin exam, said Kakashi. If you want to participate then you must sign those forms and bring them to room 301 at the academy by 9 o'clock. This is optional so don't show up if you don't want to. And with that, he vanished. Well, I don't know about you two, said Sasuke as he looked at his sheet. But I'm doing this. Might as well, said Naruto. He then looked at Anko. Maybe then we can get transferred to a different team. Anko smiled at that. That would so kick ass, she said. We get promoted, we get a new team, and it'll be like the holidays came early. Later that night, in the Hyuga complex, Neji sat in front of Hiyashi. The two of them were alone. Between them was some tea. Neji, said Hiyashi as he broke the silence. I have called you here to ask something of you. And what is that? Asked Neji. First let me say what a shame it is, said Hiyashi as he took a sip of his tea. It's a shame that someone as skilled as you is a branch member. You should be in the main house and not with the trash. It must be really hard for you. That is why I would like your help on something. If you help me, I can help you. Help me how? Asked Neji with his full attention on Hiyashi now. Well, began Hiyashi. You do know Hyuga Daiki, right? Well, he was never able to have children and is getting old. If he were to die then his line within the clan dies. I would be more than happy to have you placed under his charge as his adopted son. That would make you a main house member, and your seal would be removed safely. That is what you want, right? Neji sat there with a shocked look on his face. This had to be a dream come true. Fate was opening the door for him to become a main house member. He would finally be free of his seal. He could finally show everyone his true potential without worry. What must I do, Hiyashi-sama? Asked Neji. Hiyashi smirked. The main thing I need from you is to defeat Uchiha Sasuke in the third round of the exam, said Hiyashi. The only reason that I went with the council was so we could prove once and for all that the Hyuga clan is the strongest in the village. Once Sasuke loses to you in front of everyone, he will learn that his place is below us. Also, it will prove once and for all that a clan of copycats will never be able to match us. If you can manage it, there's one other thing. I need you to kill Uzumaki Naruto and Hinata. They have both disgraced our clan and need to be eliminated. I'm sure you know that killing will be allowed in the exam, and that you will not be held accountable for your actions even against other Konohanins. So all I really need to do is defeat the Uchiha, said Neji. And, if I can, kill 2 failures. I have no problems with that. The next morning, Team 7 arrived at the academy. They made their way up a flight of steps, and found a large group of genins around a door labeled 301. In front of it were 2 large boys who were keeping the others out. They seemed to be fighting with a boy dressed in green spandex, a bun-haired girl, and Hyuga Neji. Anko and Naruto's eyes narrowed on seeing him, remembering what he had done to their friend back when they were younger. Come on, yelled green-wearing genin, let us through. The boy was kicked back by one of the boys guarding the door. There's no way you're ready for the Chunin exam, said the first one who was really a Chunin in disguise. Some people get so badly hurt that they have to quit the shinobi program. Some have gone crazy and others die. Yeah, said the second who was the same as the first. We are doing this for your own good. Move out of the way, said Sasuke as he pushed his way through the group. We need to get to room 301 which is on the next floor. The 2 boys smirked. So you saw through our genjutsu, said the first. Well, I hate to break it to you, but that won't be enough to survive this exam. Now I suggest you leave. What if I don't feel like it? Asked Sasuke. The guy raised his fist and got ready to strike. Sasuke saw this and also prepared to hit him. However, the green spandex wearing genin caught both attacks with ease. Kami, cried the bun-haired girl. Lee, wasn't it you who said we should hide our true strength? I am very sorry, said Lee as he bowed. Neji looked at Sasuke and smirked. So you must be Uchiha Sasuke, said Neji. This year's Rookie of the Year. I'm glad to see you are taking the exam. Neji then held out his hand and waited for Sasuke to shake it. Sasuke looked at it for a moment before turning away. Neji growled at this disrespect when he heard a voice that he hated. I see your manners have improved, said Naruto as he made his presence known. Uzumaki, growled Neji. It's been a while. I look forward to facing you in the exam so I can pay you back. Naruto opened his mouth to say something, but Sasuke interrupted. Let's get moving, said Sasuke as he began to walk away. Naruto looked at Neji one last time before flipping him off. Team 7 made their way to the next flight of stairs. Looking down, they saw the sparring and target room that was used by the students. The area they were on was the spot where the rest of the class watched the matches. On the opposite side of the room was the stairs that would lead them right to room 301. However, "Please wait," yelled Lee as he appeared from behind them. "My name is Rock Lee, and I would like to challenge you Uchiha Sasuke." Sasuke looked at him, but he was not the person who spoke out. "That's it," yelled Anko. "I'm tired of having no action." "Ah, Anko-chan," said Naruto nervously. "We have to be getting to the exam room." "That can wait," snapped Anko. She then jumped down to the first floor and looked up at Lee. "Well, are you coming?" "Well, you see," said Lee as he scratched the back of his head. "I was really hoping to fight the genius Severe. Plus I don't like to hit girls." Naruto slowly began to shake his head no. That was a bad thing to say to Anko. "Don't like to hit girls," said Anko slowly as she lowered her head. When she lifted it, flames were dancing in her eyes. What a load of shit. That's just a guy's excuse so they don't have to fight a girl when they know they'll lose. "Get down here now." "Yes ma'am," said Lee as his body became straight. A moment later he appeared right in front of Anko and got into a stance. Anko pulled out a Urumi that was wrapped around her waist and held it ready. The two stared at each other as they assessed the other. Lee was the first to move. In an instant he had moved from across the room and was in front of Anko. Then he landed a punch right in Anko's gut. Lee turned around, assuming that it was over. However, everyone knows never to assume anything. There was a sudden pop that caused Lee to turn around. Anko had been replaced with a small snake. A Hibi Bunshin, thought Lee. He didn't have time to think as Anko appeared in the air right above him. She swung her blade at him, and he sidestepped it. The blade then turned around and shot at Lee from behind. Luckily for Lee he was able to jump out of the way in time. Anko then landed on the ground with as much grace as she could, and then turned to look at Lee. A smile came across her face when she saw a small cut on the boy's right leg. There was no blood, but she had come close. "You're skilled," complimented Anko. "As are you," said Lee. He then looked at the time and noticed that they had about 15 minutes. "As much as I would like to continue, we are almost out of time." He then vanished and then appeared right in front of Anko. He then kicked her into the air. A moment later he appeared behind her with the bandages on his hands beginning to unravel. This move will finish it. However, a pinwheel shot out and hit Lee's bandages. Both Lee and Anko fell to the ground and looked in the direction that it had come from. And standing in the doorway was a turtle. "Sensei," cried Lee as he went into a begging position on his hands and knees. "Lee," yelled the turtle. "That move is forbidden. How dare you defy your sensei's warnings? Now you must face Guy." With that, Guy appeared in a puff of smoke on top of the turtle. Everyone was shocked to see an old version of Lee. Without warning, the new spandex-wearing man punched Lee. Lee then got into a sitting position as Guy put his hands on Lee's shoulders. "Lee-kun," said Guy as he began to cry. "It's alright. Mistakes are part of learning. It is all a part of the springtime of youth." And with that, they both began to hug and cry. Behind them, the image of waves crashing against the rocks appeared, scaring everyone including Anko. "Guy-sensei. Lee. Guy-sensei. Lee. Guy-sensei. Lee." This was too much for Team 7. Anko made her way to the stairs and began to walk up when the hugfest stopped. Guy told Lee that after the exam was over, he would have to run around the village 200 times. When Guy was done with it, he looked at the team that was now walking up the stairs together, not knowing that they were praying that he would leave them alone. Sadly, Kami was not on their side as Guy just appeared right in front of them. "So you must be Kakashi's adorable pupils," said Guy. "Ah, you know Kakashi-sense?" asked Naruto. Guy laughed. "Of course," said Guy. "I guess you could say that we are rivals. So far the score is 20-19 in my favor." As if that was all he wanted to tell them, he vanished again. Team 7 walked down a hallway to where the room was. They spotted the door and in front of it was Kakashi. He told them that the reality was he was not there to wish them good luck, but to stop them if all three didn't show up. After that, he stepped out of the way and let them into the exam room. The room was packed with shinobi. The age range seemed to be 13 to 30. Most of them seemed to be from their village, but that didn't make them friendly. Some even looked like they were ready for school and not a shinobi exam. Those that did look like they were here for a shinobi exam had angry scowls. As soon as Team 7 entered, several groups looked at them and kept an eagle eye on them. Most of these teams seemed to be from Ame. "Sasuke-kun," came an ear-piercing scream. A moment later, Sasuke was grabbed by Ino. A moment later, Shikamaru and Shoji appeared behind her. "So you guys are here too," said Shikamaru. "Troublesome." "Don't worry," said Kiba as he and his group walked towards them. "You won't be here long. We're going to wipe the floor with your asses." "I'd like to see that happen, dog breath," said Naruto with a feral grin. "It's not like you can stop me, dope," said Kiba. "Kiba-kun, stop causing a scene," said Hinata. Immediately Kiba backed down. She then turned to Naruto and smiled. "I'm glad to see you here." Anko narrowed her eyes and then stepped between them. Remember that we are enemies here, said Anko. But I could never think of Naruto-kun as my enemy, said Hinata. Would you kids keep it down, came a voice. Then turned and saw a teenager with silver hair and glasses walking towards him. It must be your first time since you are all acting like a bunch of school kids on the playground. And you are? Demanded Sasuke. Oh, my name is Ikushi Kabuto, said Kabuto. Look behind you. The rookie 9 looked at the room and saw more people staring at them with angry glares. Everyone is nervous about this exam and are a little on edge. Armenians have short tempers and right now anything could throw them off. Also, I was here in the village for the first time. There is also the recently created Odo. Wow, said Choji. You sure know a lot. Is this your second time taking the exam? Kabuto looked a little sheepish. Actually it's my 7th, he said. This exam is no picnic. Right now I'm just lucky to be alive. That's how brutal these exams are. He then looked on the faces of the Genins. They all had some degree of worry. Except for one, Naruto. He had a grin on his face like he was worried that it was going to be boring. He then turned to the room and took a deep breath. Alright you bastards, shouted Naruto as loud as he could. I hope you all didn't unpack your bags because I'm going to be kicking all of your asses. The room began to grow cold as Naruto crossed his arms. Now everyone in the room wanted a piece of him. What really got them was that he was still smiling, like he didn't have a care in the world. Some were about to make a move when the door behind the rookie 9 was kicked down. Standing there was Setchus with his 2 female teammates behind him. Everyone quieted as he walked towards Naruto. The rookie 9 backed away as he passed them, completely intimidated by his appearance. Naruto turned and the two faced each other. So you say you're going to be kicking ass, said Setchus with a smile. Hi, said Naruto with his grin still intact. Then, Setchus threw his head back and began to laugh. Everyone stared at him like he was nuts. Then, Setchus swung his arm around Naruto's neck and got him into a headlock. Why can't more people have guts like this guy? Asked Setchus to no one in particular. He then turned to the large group as he let go of Naruto. I say anyone who is nervous should just get the fuck out of here. This isn't an exam for sissies. But if you're too scared to move, I'll be happy to help you out. Hey now, said Naruto. Don't take all the fun. Once again, everyone was looking at them like they were insane. You seem like you would put up a good fight, said Setchus to Naruto. Maybe after I take down the asshole I'm looking for then me, and you can have a good fight. Who are you looking for? Asked Naruto. That's the strongest guy here who is taking the exam, said Setchus. It's his first year taking the exam, but the guy has skills. I'll bet he was at the top of his class at the academy. That sounds like him over there, said Kiba as he pointed at Sasuke. Setchus turned his head and saw Ino still holding on to Sasuke. Setchus then pointed a finger at Sasuke. So you're him, said Setchus. Well, before this exam is over your head will be mine, Uzumaki Naruto. Everyone then face faulted to the floor. Ah, that's not Naruto-kun, said Kabuto as he got up. He then pulled out one of his cards and pushed some chakra into it. Let's see. Uzumaki Naruto, age 13. Dead last at the academy and a member of Team 7. Has a talent for Fūton Jutsus. Has completed 15 C rank mission and amazingly 1 A rank mission. He has a cousin named Haku who is a terrible cook. He is listed in the bingo books as a C rank shinobi wanted in Ame. They will only pay if he is captured alive. He has been given the nickname K's Shu by Hanzo himself. I knew all that already, yelled Setchus. Well, not the cousin part. I just want to know what he looks like. Kabuto turned the picture around so that Setchus could see the image next to the data. He stared at it for a long time before turning to face the right shinobi. Naruto just waved at him. If looks could kill, Setchus' look of anger could kill a Kage. Your ass is mine, got that? Hi, said Naruto as he waved him off. Before any more could be said, several jonins appeared. That's enough, maggots. Fighting will not be tolerated unless we say so. Try this again and you will be failed. My name is Ibiki and I will be your first examiner. Fine, said Naruto. What's the first test? Ibiki smirked as he held up the test paper. Naruto saw it and went pale. Next to him was an equally pale Setchus. A few moments later they were all seated for the written portion. Naruto took his seat next to Hinata. Inside Hinata's head was a little chibi figure of her doing a little dance. Anko was seated near the back, glaring at Hinata with enough force to burn a hole through her back. Alright, I'll go over the questions once and there will be no questions. The exam will have 10 questions. You will start out with 10 points, and for every question you get wrong, you will lose 1 point. So, if you miss 2 questions your score will be an 8. If you are caught cheating, you will lose 2 points. If you get a 0, you fail. Caught cheating 3 times and you fail automatically. Also, this test will be taken as a team. If one of you fails, you all fail. The 10th question will be given at the last 15 minutes. The test was given out and was quickly begun. Naruto looked over the exam and tried to decide what to do. He looked at the first question and decided to try the next one. This became a trend. That was until he saw question 7. The question asked what elemental chakra was, how a person can find out what type they were, and give an example of how a person trains with it. A smile came across his face as he began to write his answer down. As he did, he realized that he had just passed. After all, according to the rules, all you had to do was not get a 0, and you passed. Everyone else was using their special gifts or abilities to get the information. Tenten used mirrors to get the information to Lee. Shino was using his bugs, and Kiba was using Akamaru. Neji, Sasuke, and Hinata used their Jujutsus. Gaara used his third eye to look at other people's paper. Anko bit her thumb and then summoned a small snake. This one she knew could make itself invisible. Sadly, it didn't have any venom, but in this case she didn't mind at all. Alright, she said to the snake on her lap. Go get me the test answers. No, said the snake. Tick marks appeared on Anko's face. Why not? Asked Anko with as much sweetness as she could. I refuse to help others cheat, it replied. Anko reached down, grabbed it in her hand so only its head was showing and began to squeeze. Help me or else the next time I summon you it will be in a blender, she threatened. The snake nodded and Anko let it go to do his job. Soon, the 15-minute marker came up. Alright, time for the last question. However, there are special rules to it. First, you have the option of not taking it. If you choose not to take it, you fail. If you take the question and miss it, you get an automatic 0 and are banned from ever taking this exam ever again. That's bogus, shouted Kiba. There are others here who have taken this exam before. That's true, but I wasn't in charge before, said Ibiki. Now I am and I'm making the rules. It's just your unlucky break. Soon several teams were dismissed due to fear. Anyone else? He asked. That was when Naruto slammed his fist onto the desk. Hey, just give us the damn question already. Are you sure? You might be stuck as a genin for the rest of your life, said Ibiki. I'm not going to run away. Even if I miss it, I will still work to become Hokage. I'm not afraid to put everything on the line. Ibiki noticed that everyone else had been encouraged by his words, and were standing their ground. To say he was impressed was an understatement. He had never met anyone who could dispel the fear he placed in others with such ease. Very well then, he said and paused for a few seconds. Everyone in this room passes. What? Cried several people. I will explain. As many of you figured out, the purpose of this test was not to see what you knew, but how well you could gather information. To supply you with correct answers, several people were placed in the room as your targets. Then, it was up to you to share this information with your teammates. Okay, we get that, said the blonde Sunanin. So what was the deal with the 10th question? In the world of a shinobi you will be given many difficult tasks like the one I gave you. When you get them, will you be able to say no because you don't have enough information? The answer is no. As Shunin, you will be placed in many difficult situations, and will have to think on your feet, and will not be able to say no to them. The last question was to test your resolve. I congratulate you all on passing the first test. Please wait here for your next examiner. No need, said a loud voice as a man came crashing through a wall. I, Zaraki Kenpachi, shall take you to the next exam. The room was silent as they stared at the crazy, one-eyed man who had just walked through the wall. His long black hair stood up in several spikes with bells at the end of each spike. A thin scar went vertically over his other eye. He wore the standard Jonin uniform with a sword at his side. His crazy, insane smile caused chills to fill the room. Kenpachi, said Ibiki after a moment. How the hell did you make it here in time? A simple silly, said a different voice. Just then, a girl with short pink hair popped out from behind Kenpachi's shoulder. I told Ken-chan where to go. Kenpachi then turned his head to look at the girl. Yeah, he said. We left right after the meeting and it took us all this time to get here. Good job, Yuichiro-chan. You went through the wall, you idiots, yelled Ibiki. There was a door 3 feet from you. Why didn't you use it? The two-direction challenged Baka shrugged their shoulders. My entrances are better, muttered Anko. At least my way makes sure people remember my name. She then looked over at Naruto who was sitting next to Hinata. The blonde had stars in his eyes as he stared at Kenpachi. So cool, said Naruto. I'll have to remember making entrances like that. In another part of the room, Sechus was thinking the same thing. Hey Ibiki, said Kenpachi after he scanned the room. There seems to be a lot more people than usual. What's going on, you getting soft on me? No, said Ibiki as he turned his head to the side. This means that there are more talented genin this year. On hearing that, Kenpachi began to smile. This meant that there would be more intense fighting going on for the rest of the exam. Well, that's good, said Kenpachi. Too bad in the next part at least half of them will be gone. He then turned his attention to the genins. Alright you worms, follow me to the next exam area. Yuichiro-chan, which way? Everyone face faulted on hearing that. That way Ken-chan, said Yuichiro as she pointed in the opposite way towards Ibiki. Not wasting a second, Kenpachi began to run forward. Ibiki jumped out of the way as the insane Takubetsu Jonin ran right through the wall and kept on running. Before Ibiki could tell everyone where to go without wasting any time, Sechus and Naruto had gotten up and were running after Kenpachi. Together they ran through the hall and began to follow the trail he had made. Let's go to training field 44, said Ibiki as he covered his face with his hand. Like hell I'll let you get there before me, Uzumaki, swore Setchus, who was an inch in front of Naruto. We'll see about that, yelled Naruto as he began to speed up. In front of them, Kenpachi grinned. These two were the most interesting genins he had ever seen in the exam. After all, no one had ever tried to follow him before. The reason why, he had no clue. But to have two people actually trying to follow him was giving him a rush because they were keeping up. Ichiro-chan, said Kenpachi after a moment. Are you sure we're going the right way? Ichiro went into a thinking pose on his back before pointing at the Hokage Tower. Go that way, she said. It's a shortcut. Kenpachi nodded. Sarutobi was sitting behind his desk as he did his paperwork. Yes, the bane of all those who have reached the top. Writing down supply orders, updating the daimyo, insurance claims, and so many other things that could drive a man to madness. Personally, he wanted nothing more than to get away for a while. But that would mean he would have to get a sit-in who would be making all the shots, or worse, the council. No way in hell would he allow that. Suddenly, there was a knock at the door. Come in, said the Hokage as he set down his pen. The door opened and Haku entered the room. In her hand was a basket. The old man smiled at her, thankful for a small break. Ah, Haku-chan. What can I do for you? Well, said the young girl. I wanted to thank you for all that you have done. So I made you something. She then reached into her basket and pulled out a muffin. A muffin that looked like it was lightly glowing green. Sarutobi began to sweat a bit and began to wish she was doing paperwork. Stammered the old man as Haku placed the muffin in front of him. She then smiled at him as she waited for him to try it. It was a kind of smile that said that she had put her whole heart and soul into making it and would be crushed if he said no. Suddenly the paperwork didn't seem so bad. Slowly, very slowly, Sarutobi reached down to grab it. Then, just before he touched it, the sound of a stampede was heard. They both turned their heads in the direction of the sound and watched as the wall broke. Kenpachi raced in and out of the office, destroying everything in his path, followed by Naruto and Setchus. Normally, Sarutobi would be furious with this. However, the psycho had also destroyed his desk, as well as the muffin that was on it. Those jerks, growled Haku as she looked where they were going. I spent all night making that muffin. They will pay. With that, Haku sped off in pursuit. An hour later, the group arrived at training field 44, where the rest of the genin had been waiting very patiently. The course Ichiro had taken them on had gone through several houses, Hiyashi's room, the sewers, and up and down the streets. It was only when she saw a sign that said free candy that had been set up by the other exam instructors did she point in the right direction. When they got there, Kenpachi looked like he had just come back from getting the newspaper. Naruto, Setchus, and Haku were all gasping for air since they had run all out this entire time. I beat you, Uzumaki, said Setchus as he fought to keep standing up. Sweat was dripping from his nose, and his clothing clung to his body. Yeah, right, said Naruto. We got here at the same time. You wish, said Setchus. I was one step ahead of you. Like hell you were, said Naruto as he felt his second wind kicking in. Where's the candy? Cried Ichiro as she looked around. There's none, said a Chunin. We just put that sign up so that you would get here and The Chunin was cut short as the pink-haired girl had jumped off of Kenpachi's shoulder and bit the Chunin's hand. Well, better get this started, said Kenpachi as he ignored what Ichiro was doing. He then turned to the rest of the genins and cleared his throat. When everyone heard that, they began to move close to their teammates and stick close to people from their own villages. This is training area 44, also known as the Forest of Death. Within this area you will be doing a survival exercise. He paused as he reached behind his back and pulled out two scrolls. One said heaven and the other said earth. The exercise is very simple. Each team will be given one of these scrolls. In order to pass the exam, your team must find a team that has the other and take it from them. After that, you must make your way to the center of the forest where you will find a tower. That is your destination. Is that all? Asked a female Kusanin. Hardly, said Kenpachi. There are a few rules. The first and most important is that you can't open the scrolls. Sometimes a client will ask you to deliver sensitive documents or something personal. So we need to know if you are trustworthy. If you open them, you are out of the exam. The second rule is that you can't leave the training area until the exam is over or you fail. This part of the exam will last 5 days. What? Screamed a horrified Choji. What about food? Kill something and grill it, said Kenpachi. The last rule is that the whole team must survive and make it to the tower in order to pass. If one person dies, then the whole team loses. So, if there are any weaklings here who want to back out, now is the time to do so. No one moved. Kenpachi then pulled out some forms. Alright then. Before we can begin, I need everyone to sign this waiver. This will keep the village from being liable if someone dies. Other than the 3 rules I have explained to you, there are no other rules, which means that killing is allowed. The village doesn't want to have any conflict over the death of one of you little shitheads. Ichiro-chan will pass these out now. On hearing her name, Yuichiro released her hold on the chunin and grabbed the papers. Then with amazing speed she handed everyone a paper and a pen. When she finished, she hopped back on Kenpachi's shoulder. Naruto looked at the paper and sighed. Seemed pointless in a way. People had been trying to kill him his whole life. He doubted that the council would blame anyone if he were to die. Now he was going to sign a paper that would say it was okay during the exam. With another sigh he signed the stupid paper just as Sasuke stormed over to him. "Alright dope, talk," demanded Sasuke. He had wanted to ask Naruto ever since he had heard about what Kabuto told them. However, he never got the chance to ask him right away with the Biki showing up. "About what?" asked Naruto. "Why are you in the bingo book?" demanded Sasuke. "Who the hell is this Hanzo, and why did he give you the title of Kei's Shu?" Naruto could only look a little confused. Let's see," said Naruto as he folded his arms and began to think. "Hanzo Aji-san is the leader of the shinobi in Amagakure no Seido. I only met him once and he showed me around the village. But to be honest, I have no clue why he put me in the bingo book, or why he gave me a nickname." He then smiled. "But I guess it is cool that I am in the bingo book." "Allow me to explain," said Sechus as he moved back over to Naruto. "Hanzo-sama is one of the greatest shinobi in the world, and thinks that Uzumaki here is something special. He has ever since he first met him." Sechus then began to grind his teeth for a moment before continuing. "Then he heard about the Nami mission your team went on and just gave him a nickname." "So why did he put the dope in the bingo book?" demanded Sasuke. Sechus just shrugged. "Who knows," he replied. "Some people think it's because he wants to train him personally. Others think he wants to give him more experience by fighting more. And there are some who think that he wants to stop him before he gets too strong." "Wow," cried Naruto. "To think that Hanzo Aji-san is doing all of this for me." "Yeah," spat Sechus. "To do all of that for an outsider." Naruto stared at Sechus, and Sechus stared right back. "Listen Kei's Shu, a lot of people in Ame are pissed at you. Paying so much attention to an outsider when he has a whole village of capable shinobi is insulting. What makes you so special that you get his praise?" "I guess I'm more than capable," answered Naruto. Sechus let out a growl before turning around and moving back to his teammates. Sechus' teammates were twin sisters. Their names were Elf and Swolf. They both wore tight black dress-like outfits that showed off every curve they had. A slit on both sides of their dress made it easier for them to move around. They both had plump lips and short black hair. As he approached them, they were gossiping about which boys were hot and which were not. "There's one thing that bothers me," said Naruto. "What's that?" asked Sasuke. "How did Kabuto know that Haku Otoko was a bad cook?" asked Naruto. Sasuke blinked, realizing that it was a good question. "Allow me to explain," said Kabuto as he appeared out of nowhere. "I was helping my father when he treated Kakashi-sensei when your team returned from Wave. We had to basically pump his stomach. Once I heard that she was your cousin, I made a note about it, just in case." In another part of the crowd, the Iwa Genin team was staring at Naruto. The weakest of the three was named Bakken. He had short flat black hair and tan skin. His body was covered with large scars that were visible due to the tunic-like outfit he was wearing minus the top part. Then there was Gama. He had white skin with a green cloth wrapped around his bald head. His attire was much like Bakken's. The finale member in most dress was named Risho. He had black hair that went down to his neck hair and narrow eyes. He was dressed in a black outfit with some orange thrown in. On his shoulders were some padding that looked like gems. "So when do we strike?" asked Bakken. "As soon as we find him in the forest," said Risho as he rolled his eyes. After a while, teams were called to a closed tent. There they turned in their papers and received their scroll. After that, they were told which gate to go to, and to wait until the exam started. As they waited, Kiba kept staring at Haku, who was giving her cousin some advice or something. He didn't really care. Konkuro was staring at Naruto. He couldn't wait to get back at the blonde who mocked him. He then looked at the rest of his team and noticed that Gaara was staring at someone. He followed Gaara's gaze and smirked. Gaara was staring at Haku. Konkuro nudged his sister and then whispered in her ear. She gave him a no way in hell look. Konkuro just smiled and began to nod. Temari shook her head no. Then, Konkuro decided to get the facts in the worst possible way. "So Gaara," said Konkuro as Temari took a few steps back. "What are you looking at? Why do you care?" demanded Gaara as he turned to stare at his older brother. "This Wonder Man," said Konkuro as he held up his hands. Gaara was silent for a moment, and Konkuro lowered his hands. Gaara then pointed at Haku. "There is something about her," said Gaara. "For some odd reason I can't stop staring at her. Perhaps she is using some kind of genjutsu." Konkuro did his best not to laugh. "Or perhaps she has some special ability that I am unaware of." Konkuro was now holding his breath to keep from laughing. "I have thought about killing her to get rid of this desire, but something inside is telling me that it would be wrong. I do not understand this." Gaara then looked at Konkuro, who was now turning blue. He then turned to Temari, who jumped back a bit. "Temari, what do you think?" "Ami?" she asked as she pointed to herself. "Well, maybe she's not doing anything to you." "Are you saying that there is something wrong with me?" demanded Gaara. Tamari gulped. Now she knew they were in dangerous territory. I think it's a guy thing, said Tamari quickly. You know, your body is maturing and all that. Before Gaara could ask or threaten them, their team was called to get a scroll. As soon as the gate opened, Team 7 rushed into the forest. They ran for a while until Naruto stopped them. What's the matter, Dobe? Demanded Sasuke. I need to take a leak, answered Naruto as he pointed to some trees. Why didn't you take care of that before? Demanded Sasuke. Because I didn't have to go back then, answered Naruto. He then turned and began to look for a place to take a piss, where no one was looking. He found a spot and then pulled his pants and boxers down. A moment later he let out a sigh of relief. Just as he finished, he heard a sound he hadn't heard in a long time. The sound of someone using an Ame breathing mask. Naruto turned around as two Ame shinobi jumped down from the trees. Hey guys, said Naruto as he returned to his team. Anko and Sasuke took one look at him, and then got into their battle stances. What's going on? We know you're not Naruto, said Sasuke. Naruto doesn't have a kunai holder on his leg. He keeps all his kunai and shuriken in his pouch. Also you have the wrong amount of whisker marks, said Anko. Naruto-kun has 3 whiskers on each cheek, not 4. Your hen sucks. Naruto chuckled before going puff and was then replaced with an Amenin. Not bad, said the Amenin through the breathing device. I feel so violated, cried Naruto. You're both sick for watching a guy take a piss. Both Amenin's sweat dropped. Let's just grab the kid and go, said the one-eyed Amenin. Let's, said the Amenin who had both eyes covered. The two then rushed at Naruto who said, Senputate. Naruto then rose into the air and began to spin around until a sphere of wind had surrounded him. The two Amanians were sucked into the attack, going around and around in the airstream, along with branches and several rocks. Then it stopped, sending everything flying in all directions around Naruto. If that's the quality of an Ame shinobi, then I can see why Hanzo Aji-san likes me, said Naruto as he began to walk back to his teammates. Kaden. Takakyu no Jutsu. Yelled Sasuke as he fired a fireball at the Amanin. The Amanin jumped back to dodge it and then raced away, realizing that he was in over his head. Sasuke was about to follow him when he saw Naruto calmly walk towards him. Acting quickly, Sasuke readied his kunai. So you ran into them too, team, said Naruto. Hearing that, Sasuke lowered his kunai and scowled at Naruto. Alright, said Sasuke. We're going to need a password. The next thing that Naruto knew was Sasuke giving him a very long and complicated password. Naruto was about to complain when a powerful wind appeared and blew them all away. Naruto landed a good distance away using the wind to soften the fall. He silently swore to get back at whoever did that. Using his element to attack him was bad enough, but letting it happen was even worse. If he ever met the bastard who did that, then he would show them how to use the wind in the most painful. Naruto's train of thought was stopped when a shadow loomed over him. Then he heard a hissing sound. Naruto looked up and saw a giant snake baring his fangs at him. It's one thing right after the other, said Naruto right before the snake lunged at him. At the same time, Sasuke and Anko were making a new friend. Well, not really. Anko and Sasuke had landed on top of each other once the wind subsided. Soon after they got up, they saw Naruto walk over to them. Sasuke demanded that Naruto give them the password and he did it perfectly. This of course proved he was a fake. The fake Naruto undid the Genjutsu and became the Kusanin. Alright, said Anko. Where the hell is Naruto-kun? The Kusanin smirked. You mean that blonde baka? She asked. I believe that he is right now playing with one of my pets. Naruto used the wind to get out of the way as the snake bit into the earth. As the snake began to lift its head once again, Naruto began to spin his arm to form his ultimate attack. By the time the snake was at eye level with Naruto, the flying nin shot at it and yelled Senpuken as he hit its nose. The end result was completely destroying its head, sending a few pieces in the air. One of the snake's fangs traveled a ways and pierced through the head of a genin wearing an orange sweatshirt with a hood. Oh my kami, cried the dead boy's teammate. He killed Kenji. You bastard, yelled the other teammate. Naruto flew up above the trees and decided to start looking for his teammates. This, however, proved to be a problem since all he could see were the tops of trees that still had all their leaves. After a few minutes, Naruto decided to fly back to where he had started and set out on foot. Once again, he realized, oh shit, swore Naruto as he began to realize something. I'm lost. Thanks for listening. I do hope you enjoyed. If you want the next part of this video, like, subscribe and comment down below, and turn on the bell notification. And also check out other videos that I have created and enjoy. See you in the next video. Peace.